988. Put it in your phone right now. 988 is the National Lifeline. It's 24/7. It's not just for suicide prevention lifeline. It's for any reason. It's a national resource. Every single person, your family members, your grandparents, your children, 988 is really key.
Hey everyone, I'm your host, Courtney Post, and this is Let's Vet Together by Suveto, a show where we'll be highlighting stories of growth, ownership, and well-being in the veterinary industry and having real conversations about how we can make veterinary medicine better for everyone. Hello, everyone. Before we get into our conversation today, I want to introduce you to our guest, Susan Carney. Susan, welcome. Each week, we'll be asking our guests to bring a treat from a local shop near them. So that with that being said, Susan, what are you snacking on today? What treat do you have from your hometown? And while you share that with us, also introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and really what is on your mind this morning.
Perfect. Thanks, Courtney. Hi, everybody. Thanks for your time today, and thanks for everything that you do each and every day. I'm Susan Carney, Wellbeing Manager here at Suveto. I live in New Jersey, and people have certain opinions about New Jersey, but I will say we have good snacks. How about saltwater taffy? Woohoo! Saltwater taffy. Sweet treat, right?
Yeah,
it's a nice sweet treat. And in advance of this our get together, I just did a bit of research. So quick history, saltwater taffy was actually invented in Atlantic City, New Jersey by accident, actually. The gentleman that was
someone trying to make when they make taffy. That's so interesting when you really stop and think about it.
He was actually making taffy, which, that was his product that he was selling on the boardwalk. But unfortunately, one evening, a rogue wave came on the boardwalk and basically decimated his taffy shop. And so the next day, people came to purchase it, and he was all grouchy, like, "Oh, it's saltwater taffy." So they ended up selling it. But they fixed it. There is actually no salt in saltwater taffy, but he fixed it, and that's kind of a little bit of history, New Jersey history there. So that's my snack for the day.
What is your favorite flavor of taffy, of saltwater?
Oh my gosh, lemon. Yeah, it's awesome.
And is it a year-round snack, or is that typically a summertime snack? Because I know obviously the boardwalk in New Jersey is like a summertime destination, but do people in New Jersey eat taffy year-round?
You can get it year round. And by the way, the boardwalk is the best, little known secret, or now I guess I'm letting the secret out of the bag. The boardwalk to me is the best in the winter off season because it's not crowded. The ocean is just amazing. You have it all to yourself. You can walk your dog, walk your family. So it's a year round treat. It's also available through mail order.
There you go. Yeah, Susan is not being paid for the endorsement of this saltwater taffy. So, Susan, you mentioned at the beginning, you are the Wellbeing Manager at Suveto, which stands for Supporting Veterinary Ownership. At Suveto, we have 3 pillars: ownership, growth, and well-being. And today I want to talk all about well-being, who you are, why you do what you do, what brought you to this, Susan, and really what a typical day of a well-being manager is. I know in our Suveto world, a lot of people know you and interact with you, but in the broader veterinary community, you have so much perspective and knowledge to share as well. So today we just really want to hear all about Susan, all about kind of your role and what brought you here, and also what resources are available just to make everyone's day a little bit brighter if they can't get to the boardwalk and get some fresh air and get some taffy and spend some time with their dog.
Sure, that's great. And I appreciate that. And so being a well-being manager is probably one of the best roles that I've personally ever had. I started my career in financial services way back in the day, which actually set me up to be, I think, a good person in HR and in this type of role, because it's a crazy busy atmosphere working on the trading desk and dealing with different emotions and different people and different situations. And from there, I just worked in the HR and benefits for a long time and kind of sat on all sides of the table. So the insurance side, the consulting side, as well as the HR side. And having the opportunity to work in the veterinary industry, being a pet mom, a pet lover, I volunteer at a shelter is amazing. And so, well-being is, that term applies to everybody across the board, right? Not just us here,
Absolutely.
in this industry. And I think what's really important about it is that anybody can do it. You just need to focus. You just need to,
Absolutely.
you
It's
know.
about putting, yourself first, as well as understanding healthy boundaries, understanding
Mhm.
resources, how you show up for other people can impact their well-being as well.
Exactly.
And it being a focus, really just allows us to try to create a healthier atmosphere for everyone, in our work life and personal life. Susan, I'd love to hear about you working on in financial services, on a trading room floor. And when were you first aware that there was a place for well-being in the workplace?
So great question, Courtney. And believe it or not, like back then, I recognized it because it's when the market was crazy, and things were going really well until they weren't, right? And so, I was young, fresh out of college, working on, a female, which there were hardly any female back then. Females were, sort of not on the desk at the time. And so it's actually the first time I actually ever saw a grown man cry
Mm.
when the market, had a kind of a crash. So I think I've always been aware of that, and trying to, hone your empathy, understanding, some people have that high EQ, emotional quotient, and some people don't. Some people very, very smart, have amazing IQs, but really being able to understand, well, how can I hone that other side of me? You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, to your point, let's looking out for each other. Let's determine, like, I think one quote that I think is so relevant. You can't be at you can't do your best unless you're at your best.
Yep, it's very true. It's very true.
So yeah, I
Work
think
work
that's
is dramatically impacted by the world around us, and so many other factors, and who we are mentally and physically, how if we are healthy, if we are supported, if we feel comfortable, if we feel safe, and how we then can support those around us can impact not only our personal life, but really our professional life and our output. And for especially for veterinary professionals, their jobs are to show up and care and provide
Mhm.
for clients and for the amazing, pet patients that walk in their door every day. It's really hard to do when they are not feeling physically or emotionally or mentally supported or healthy. And I'd love to hear a little bit about your day to day, Susan. What does
Mhm.
a well-being manager do? And then for all of those folks within the walls of any vet hospital, how do you best prepare yourself for a healthy self and a healthy workplace?
Sure. My day to day, which I'm happy to say is never the same, which is a good thing. I like
Great.
that. I like the opportunity to have different opportunities and different challenges each day. The main focus of the job, though, is to sort of source resources and support for our teams and their families. And so on a normal day, I'll be working very closely with my fellow HR business partners, working with the practice managers or the hospital coaches on any myriad of issues, right? So it could be maybe one hospital is having a particular issue, grouchy clients, and their service team is getting beat up. Well, how can we help support them? And helping them understand what are healthy boundaries, doing your job, but not getting screamed at, that's never acceptable, right? In any environment. So helping them, providing tips and resources on that, all the way to, I might get a phone call like, hey, I noticed somebody on our team is just really not themselves today. They generally come in, they're really happy and perky and chatty. And I just happen to notice this person seems a little bit down. What can I do?
Sure.
And then, how can we let them know that they're not alone, which is a really big message. They're not alone.
Yeah.
So in addition to working, directly with sort of the leadership team, yourself and the executive leaders, our partners, I also work directly with, I'm so happy when somebody reaches out directly to me to say, hey, I heard of something about you, Susan Carney. I don't know. Can you, is there something called an EAP, or is there some,
Susan
resource?
Carney
I'm
is
struggling.
becoming a celebrity within the Suveto network. And I think thanks to this podcast will probably soon be a celebrity within all of veterinary medicine. So Susan has all the resources. I had the best like mental picture when you were describing your day to day and what you do, Susan, is I actually think you're like the head librarian in like the whole, like if the library is full of mental health resources and well-being, resources and things that will help make a healthy, self-healthy workplace, and you just go and source, what does someone need, where does it lie, like what books do they need, but obviously not literal books, but more resources. So you just know how to search through the endless library of resources and provide them for folks, both, I would say, reactively, right? We have a series of unhappy clients. They're creating a hard,
Right.
A hard working environment, but also proactively. What can we do, as a team to address, creating healthy boundaries or mindfulness in the workplace, right? So it's probably a mix of both reactionary work as well as proactive work.
Excellent. Courtney, you're spot on. And I will say it's Suveto, with well-being being one of the foundational pillars. It's quite amazing because you can just feel that throughout the organization, and proactive, hospital coaches or practice managers proactively reaching out to me to say, I think, can you just tell us what you do? Can you just, we've layered people with the resources. We've told them, but is there something else? And even if that resonates with one person in that room, that's amazing. That makes me so proud and so happy that,
Absolutely. It
get the
starts with
message
just helping
out.
one person, Susan. It doesn't, you don't have to move mountains to make impact. That one person has a ripple effect for sure.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
I'm
What
pretty
are
honored.
some basic steps that folks can take? Like if someone was starting at the very beginning, like step one, not that there's ever step one, right? We all bring our whole, history, our whole life history of how we care for ourselves, how we show up for folks, how we communicate, our well-being IQ, our emotional IQ, like you said. But if you could kind of rewind everyone and start in one place to say, when you think about a holistic approach to well-being, if you could just kind of start with these couple tools or steps or fundamentals, what would those be? Because that's a nice checklist for folks to be like, you know what, sometimes you have to go back to basics.
Mhm.
So what are your words of wisdom on well-being fundamentals?
I think the first thing is you want to acknowledge what you're doing, right? Acknowledge all of the hard work that you're doing, and be aware that you are doing doing a great job, doing the best you can,
Mhm.
but also be aware that I may not be, getting to my full potential, and that's okay. That
Yeah.
is okay. It's okay to not be okay. And so, starting from the beginning, I think you want to take a little pulse check on yourself. And
Sure.
so, some easy tips to do: get up 15 minutes earlier. I know everybody has crazy days, crazy shifts and whatnot, but that makes a huge difference. Get up, do an extra
Use
stretch in the
that time to
morning.
check in with yourself, right?
Exactly, exactly. Focus on yourself. Take that 15 minutes, do that extra stretch, do the plank on the floor, take your dog, take a cup of coffee. Maybe we talked earlier about, commuting to work. Some folks drive to work depending on where you are. Take that time for yourself. Listen to your favorite music.
Yeah.
You owe that to yourself, starting your day off right, starting your day off on the right foot. And that's going to help you have a better experience with your patients, with your clients, and with your colleagues.
It's a
And so,
great
you
tip.
know, I
The
think
the take time for yourself and
mhm.
put that at the beginning of your day because no one can take it away at that point. Yeah.
Exactly. And you owe that. You deserve that. You owe that to yourself. You're always making time for everybody else. You know what? You need to acknowledge and take that time for yourself. And then certainly as the day goes on, the other thing that's really important is you need to take your breaks, right? It's a
Mhm.
crazy environment. I know that it's tough. If you have somebody has eyes on your patient, of course that's first, but you need to hydrate. We hear stories of people saying, "Oh my gosh, I didn't take any water. I didn't eat lunch. I haven't gone to the restroom in 5 hours." Well,
Wow.
that's a problem.
Sure.
you,
Absolutely.
you need to look out for yourself and also look out for each other, because as you referenced earlier, part of well-being is the social connections and
Mhm.
looking around. And so tap somebody else out. and
Absolutely. Or, encourage those folks to drink their water. I've been seeing more and more of
right.
the big gallon jugs of water.
Mhm.
What a great approach for a whole practice or a whole office full of folks to say, you know what, we're going to all commit to drinking water throughout the day. And how can we make sure we all drink our water? But that's going to require people to take bathroom breaks, and that's okay. That
Of course,
when
yeah.
folks say, I can't drink that much water, I have to go to the bathroom too often, that's okay. You need to
Yeah.
use the restroom. You need to hydrate your body. And sometimes just taking a couple deep breaths while you're, taking a second for yourself is a great reason to really dial out for just a couple minutes.
To do that. It's also important to take breaks from technology as well. I mean, that's
Mhm.
another thing. We're all, everybody's 24/7. Everybody always has a phone in front of them or five phones or whatever. I'm on one, I'm ringing one, I'm on a podcast over here. No, take a minute. You need to turn everything off, especially at night. You don't need that blue light shining there. I mean, if there's an emergency situation, that's one thing. But generally, people are not having emergencies every minute of every day.
That's true.
So I think it's really important to take that break. And I think again, as we referenced earlier, be aware of your surroundings and how you're feeling.
Mhm.
I'm feeling tired. Oh, that's part of the job. um, I'm feeling, I had a situation with a patient. Of course, I'm feeling sad and depressed, and that is normal, and that is true.
Sure.
However, notice yourself if it's going on for days and weeks, and you're sluggish, and you're not. Pay attention. Pay attention to what your body's telling you. I
Yeah.
think oftentimes we just keep going. We just say, nope, got to do it. I know that's the job, and that's just really, it's not healthy for anybody.
No,
So
it isn't.
yeah.
In the your workplace or in your home life too.
Hmm.
That feeling overwhelmed, feeling run down. Yes, life can be really busy sometimes, but for that feeling to be a constant, that's when you need to take some time to reevaluate, take some time for yourself, surround yourself with people that can help, or some resources that can help. And that's what I would love to talk about, Susan, is
Sure.
obviously everyone within Suveto has you as a resource as our well-being manager. Although well-being does also often start with yourself of take time to then use the resources and tools that you can help folks find. But for those outside of Suveto, just in the vet industry as a whole, what resources are available to folks? Like if I
Hmm.
am feeling overwhelmed, if I am feeling sad past those days of being with a client that didn't go well, or for a personal interaction that didn't go well, what resources are available to folks?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, one thing that's pretty exciting, that happened over the summer, the last few months, you guys know 911, right? So 911, everybody knows when to call 911. There's an emergent, there's a
Absolutely.
situation, I need law enforcement, I need a fire, the fire team to come to my home. 988, put it in your phone right now. 988 is the National Lifeline. It's 24/7. It's not just for suicide prevention lifeline. It's for any reason. It's a national resource. Every single person, your family members, your grandparents, your children, 988 is really key. They can counsel you. You're going to be directly connected to someone that can help you sort through issues. And what they can do as well is maybe connect you to a local resource. So, I'm in Colorado and I'm calling and I'm struggling and I'm feeling a certain way. They could connect me to somebody that's locally within my state or my city.
I have to admit,
So I
Susan,
think,
I did not realize that resource was available. You are
yes.
teaching me something today. 988 is a resource available to anyone in any situation.
Exactly.
And I actually, when you think about 911, you call that number for lots of different reasons.
Hmm.
There might be a medical emergency. You might need a police officer. You might need a firefighter. You don't need to in the moment think what number to call. I just have one, and it's
Right.
911. 988 is the same concept, that it's just not suicide prevention. It's also just, listen, I need help at this moment. I need some resources, and that's available no matter where you are.
Exactly. Yep. So that's key. And then in addition, there's national resources that are available. There's Mental Health America, which has tons of resources. It's Mental Health America or MHA. They have, self-assessment tests that you can take. They'll connect you, to potentially resources that are available in your community if you don't have anything available through your employer, as we do here at Suveto. There's NAMI. There's lots of resources that are available. I would also suggest to people that look within your own city or town and just put, behavioral health services in Red Bank, New Jersey. That's where I live. What's a source, a support group that could help me. And the other thing that's really important, and we're very lucky to live in this country where they have support groups that will meet us where we are. Okay.
Sure.
So maybe I'm struggling with, not my own suicidal thoughts, but maybe I lost a loved one to suicide, somebody that passed from suicide. There's support groups out there that could help me as a widow or the LGBT community. I want to speak to somebody that's like me, or the Steve Fund for people of color. I want to feel comfortable with somebody that's in my own affinity group. So there's lots of resources that are out there that are really going to help you meet you where you are. And call me if you don't know, because I can help you.
Susan can
But
help everyone. Absolutely.
yeah, but I think that's really important, right? Because you want to feel comfortable. It's a journey. It's not easy to ask for help, especially very high IQ people in our industry, super smart, years of education. And, you are superstars, but we can't always do it all.
Yeah,
And
and we're
so,
and this industry is full of caregivers. It's
mhm.
full of providers. It's full of a selflessness that can be, unhealthy. And it's time to put yourself first and make sure that you are using the resources available to you. Again, within Suveto, we have fantastic resources, but those resources are available whether you're in Suveto or not. And Susan, I think you just scratched the surface of what is out there, but you don't have to go far to actually find them once you're willing to look. So,
Great.
Susan, before we wrap up, what is the one piece of advice that you'd give someone entering the vet profession now that you've worked in other industries, you found your home within the veterinary industry? I'm going to ask everyone this question, and I'd be interested to hear your response.
I think when you're entering the profession is think about why, what brought you to get there? Like what, why did I go through all that education, or why did I go through all the training or the interviews, or however, got you where you wanted to be, and try to hold on to that spark, to say, this is why I got into it, because I love animals. I want to help make a difference in the world. I want to be part of my community, right? Working in a shelter, maybe I want to give back,
Mhm.
nonprofit. I think that's really important, is to remember the why you got into it, and hold on to that.
And go
And I
back to
think,
it on hard days, and go back to it in moments that you're feeling depleted. It
yeah,
can be a power source.
exactly. And celebrate on the days when you feel great, because it's not all about the sad days. There's
Yeah,
way
absolutely.
more many happy days. And so celebrate that and say, hey guy, we're a team. We're in this together, and here's what's happening, and do all the cute, funny things together. You talked about, drinking the water and
Yeah,
hydrating. We actually had a hydration challenge, and
I
believe
love
me,
it.
our team stepped up. We had
Yeah.
we had some of our hospitals with the huge, like, water gallon
Right.
jug drinking water. So make it, try to make it fun, bring it back, that you want to be happy, you deserve to be happy.
Yep.
And so, yeah, hold on to that. And on those days when you need support, you're not alone. Reach out. Support is available.
Amazing, amazing words of advice, Susan. I appreciate it. I have my tips for myself. I'm going to put these on my desk. Sometimes you need to make them the background of your phone. Sometimes you have to put them on the dashboard of your car, but it's committing to myself 15 minutes early. Get up 15 minutes earlier for a little bit of time for myself before you give it to everybody else. Water. I'm drinking coffee right now. I need to switch over to water. The water throughout the day is great. And remembering that 988 resource. I mean, that is really important. I want to make sure I spread that word to those around me and my family and friends, that everyone should know
Mhm.
that that resource is available. But I hope everyone can listen to this time that Susan and I had together, and also reflect back to their why, and to remember their spark, and to celebrate that every day. And Susan, this was such lovely time together. And next time we get together in person, I think I need to try some taffy from your neck of the woods.
You got it.
Orange is my favorite flavor.
Orange. Okay, I'll remember that. Note to self.
Love it. It's like orange sherbet. It's such a treat.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Courtney. This is amazing.
Susan, this was super fun. I appreciate it.
I do as well. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for listening. Take care.